and welcome back to episode 3 of the ANM Show. We're back here with the AL Central now. We've done the AL East, NL East, and I feel like those were pretty cut and dry. Like, there was a few discrepancies in our AL East, but I feel like the NL East was pretty cut and dry. I think from now on out, as we continue to go on with the divisions, we're gonna have some back and forth with who we have landing where, especially starting with the Central here. I mean, we got the Tigers, the Twins, White Sox, Royals, and Guardians now. You were gonna say something, Mort?
Yeah, I was just say I just personally think that it kind of gets easier and for me, but
Starting with this one?
yeah.
Okay. I feel like I feel like for me and you it's easy, but for Nick,
Well, I think with the AL East where I was doubting where I thought like 2 or 3 teams could kind of be close, it's like this one could be the same way, and then just the other ones that it's not going to be the same way for me.
okay.
The AL East is the toughest division to predict, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that. I think that one falls out west, but
I mean, what do you mean, the AL West?
yeah, sure, the AL West. All right, but let's get into it. Just thinking back, we've obviously highlighted free agent signings. I don't think there's been any two big ones in the past week.
Nope, none that affect the Central either. So we're
Yeah.
still our role just continues to stay strong.
Yeah. So we'll kick this off, Nick. Since you're not partial to this division, you can kick it off with your number 5 team.
All right. Well, my 5th place team is going to be the Chicago White Sox.
All right.
I mean,
what's your reason behind that?
Go into the season, like, I mean, I'm looking at their lineup. I mean, I'm just right now. Their starting catcher is Martin Maldonado. I mean,
yeah, Maldi.
Guess he's a good game caller.
37-year-old rolling out there.
Yeah.
They're starting second baseman Nicky Lopez.
Yeah.
I mean, your shorts, Paul DeYoung, who was a worst Blue Jay player I've ever seen. They got Dominic Fletcher now as an outfielder. I mean, it's not even. I mean, then they got the Eloy Mendez, Luis Robert, Benintendi, but then their pitching staff.
I was gonna say, don't forget Mike Soroka down there.
Oh yeah, they got Mike Soroka back from the dead. They got, I think Eric
Flexen.
Yeah, Chris Flexen, who's been like a career like 5 ERA pitcher.
Hey, he helped me win the 2022 fantasy championship. Just saying that.
Okay, he had one good season, I guess. They got I think Eric Fetty. He was on the KBO. I remember.
I think I remember on the Nationals too. So
yeah,
basically,
he was there, but I think he was in the KBO for a few years. Could be the wrong. Their bullpen's got to be the worst one I've seen though. Like, there's not one pitcher in that bullpen where I can like see come out of the pen and just you can rely on to actually like get people out and like
no John Burbia or Tuki Toussaint.
Hey, don't hate on Tuki.
Jesse Chavez had that 2-year span with the A's where he could get some outs.
I mean, you got Garrett out of the bullpen, but like he's your best guy. Like,
I mean, all I'm gonna say is if you're a betting person and you see a White Sox game, take every single over against them this year because not that they're gonna score a lot of runs, but their pitching's gonna give up at least like 5+ runs each game. It's free money at this point.
So I'll parlay off of that. White Sox are my last team. They have absolutely no identity when it comes to the field. This team, it's just a bunch of guys thrown together, and they're playing pickup baseball. The starting pitching isn't terrible. Like, I like some of their starting pitchers. I think the opposite. I think that's what's going to help them stay in some games. I think it's when the bullpen comes in. I think that's what's just going to lose them the game. I do think 2 of their starting pitchers get traded by the deadline, though. Like last year, I just think that's what's going to fall out for them. But yeah, you went through the starting lineup. Andrew Vaughn, Johan Mikado became a shell of himself last year. Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez, those are like your guys. But Eloy and Luis, I feel like they were hurt. They've had injury issues their entire career so far, and they're still so young. Like, so I don't really know what the direction this team's going in.
Oh, they're going straight to the basement.
Well, yeah. That other than that, I don't understand why they are just deciding to go straight to the basement. Plus, they have new management this year. I don't even know who their manager is, but whoever it is, probably not going to do as great. But
yeah, I'll tell you what direction they're also going, and they're going for a bottom 3 team in baseball. I have them as the worst team in the Central. Also, like as we mentioned, like I don't even know how Martin Maldonado ended up there, but that might be the best catcher they've had in a little bit. I couldn't have told you Paul DeYoung was there until today, but yeah, as you said, Luis Robert. All I hear is that he's so good. He's the next big thing. He's got so much potential. He's this. He's that. He barely plays, and when he does, to be honest, I haven't seen more than just little tiny flashes of what Luis Robert's supposed to be like.
Mort.
Eloy doesn't know what the baseball field is. So other than that, I don't know. Andrew Vaughn can only carry him so far.
Hey, we saw Luis in person. We saw those long strides
about 9 years ago when he actually knew what the baseball field was. Other than that, I don't know. Like Andrew Benintendi's still there. He's not what he used to be. Moncada absolutely reeks.
Yeah, I don't. He died. Like he was decent to start the year last year, and then something happened, and then he just had a lingering injury all year. He tried to keep coming back, and then like he would play like 5 innings, get taken out, and then be out for another 4 weeks. Like
so, like on top of that, I also have. I'm sure that the movie we talk about is Cease. I think he gets traded at the deadline. I do think they don't get very much out of him because I do think he has also fallen off, and he could go to a playoff contender and be like a number 3 starter. But other than that, I don't know.
I think it could be.
Or hot take just came to my mind. Dylan Cease may not last till the start of the season. Outside of Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell not being traded still, the Astros just lost Justin Verlander signed. The Astros just lost Justin Verlander for however long. And a Dylan Cease-sized hole, is what it's looking like.
All right. I also think the other guy I think would be traded would be Kopech. I mean, he's getting up there. He's 27 now. I feel like he's been with this franchise for what it seems like. He's pitched 103 games with them. He's been with them he's pitched with them since 2018. He didn't pitch the 2019 and 2020 season. So
yeah, I think he had some surgery or something. Yeah. I thought,
but yeah, it seems like he's been with them forever.
Yeah, he goes somewhere to be a reliever because he's not good enough to be a starter. He absolutely reeks with his 5 ERA.
I think they're gonna trade like a majority of that roster at the deadline.
Oh yeah, it's just you can't get much out of them. They're not very good. The ones that they do have,
they might just have to build around Andrew Vaughn, even though that might sound
that's sad, absolutely.
But like,
they missed their chance. They missed their chance when they had Jake Berger over there too.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Now him and Tim Anderson are cutting it up in Miami at the club.
Yeah, they're doing something there.
All right, let's move on to the 4th place team. Nick, who do you got?
I mean, again, 4th place wasn't really tough for me either. The Kansas City Royals are going to be my 4th place team. Their lineup pretty much the exact same, but they added Hunter Renfroe. I mean, he's going to give them some pop, I guess. Be like a middle of the order guy, driving some runs. But I mean, Salvador Perez, he's aging. I don't know how great he's going to do. They do have MJ Melendez who can catch too, so I think
they moved him to outfield.
Shout out MJ. Yeah, he was playing outfield last year, but
yeah.
Did he play any catcher last year?
I think he played a little bit.
I think a few, but I think they brought in somebody to play or to be the backup catcher now. They brought in oh my god, I was just looking at it today when I was looking at the rosters. They brought in Austin Nola.
Yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, I think even though he's aging and probably everyone wants him to retire as a Royal, I think they end up trading Perez through the season let him try and win one more ring somewhere else. Who needs a catcher? Pitching rotation. I mean, they do got some new names here. Michael Waka, he's solid veteran, I guess. Seth Lugo, I mean, he just was converted to a starter with the Padres, and I guess he's been all right. But
They still
Jordan
have Jordan
Lyles,
Lyles, though.
yeah, this Jordan Lyles, who's projected a 5.5 ERA this season.
Jordan Lyles.
That's generous, to be honest.
Jordan Lyles, the worst starting pitcher in MLB history. Like, statistically,
Yeah.
the worst starting pitcher over probably like a 100-game stretch.
But somehow he finds a job every year.
It's
He's
still
got
with
to
the
have like
Toronto
a
Royals every
fire
year.
agent.
Well, yeah,
His
because
agent of the year.
Because the Royals weren't trying to win games.
All right.
But I wait, one more thing. I will say about the Royals though, Cole Ragans is an underrated pitcher. I think he's gonna be I think he's gonna be like top 10 pitcher in ERA in the AL this year. That's my prediction.
I did see something today on Twitter that they projected him a top 30 MLB pitcher. So
yeah, I mean he was really good last year.
All right, my number 4, the Cleveland Guardians. I think they have a fall from grace here. I think they finally take the step back that everyone thought they were. Everyone keeps predicting, like, are they going to do good? Then they go on like a 10-game win streak and they kind of boost. They get really close to 500, and then they lose a couple games and then they win a couple. I feel like they finally take the big step back that everyone's been predicting. Their pitching will still carry them like always. They always seem to have good pitching. Although I do feel like Shane Bieber may finally be traded this year. I personally don't like their position players. You have Austin Hedges and you have Bo Naylor. Bo hasn't really done anything. I don't even think he's been at the MLB level yet. I mean, yeah, he was last year. Never mind, that's stupid. But I mean, you look at their infield. You have Josh. You have Andre Jimenez. He's going to be your guy. You have Jose Ramirez. You don't have a shortstop really right now. And then your outfield is just a bunch of guys who hit for contact, and are somewhat decent defensively.
Their shortstop's Brian Ricchecchio, the young guy.
Oh yeah.
Do they got a prospect somewhere?
They don't have any that they invited to spring training.
They usually seem to have a random middle infielder right there, because they're obviously nobody's gonna get it over Andres Jimenez.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think they have another one. It won't load for me, but yeah, I think they might have somebody.
But nonetheless, I think this is a team that comes in fourth. I think Shane Bieber may be a guy that if somebody's looking for a pitcher at the deadline and they're sitting in fourth place, he's going to be a guy that goes. But my big prediction for the Indians this year is J-Ram. He's gone. I think he gets traded at the deadline. I think he has an all-star season, but I think they go for prospects. And they finally cave in to the rebuild, and they look towards the future and trade Jose Ramirez.
Okay, so I'll piggyback off of you because I also have the Guardians in fourth.
Okay.
Wow.
But the Jose Ramirez thing, he just signed an extension. There's absolutely no way he gets traded. He absolutely loves loves Cleveland, and has said that he doesn't want to go anywhere. So I mean, I don't think he goes until he says I'm done here, and I just think he's too nice of a guy to do that. Outside, speaking of that shortstop spot you're talking about, Gabriel Arias, I think he was another prospect of theirs that they were liking a little bit, so we could see him log some innings there. But outside of that, yeah, their lineup's not very good. I'm with you on Bieber maybe not being there very long. Again, that could be another time that the Astros come calling. Tristan McKenzie is the truth still, though. And then outside of that, it's. I mean, they'll keep them in some games, but yeah, their whole motto with the Guardians is just put the ball in play, just slap the ball around and hope for the best. And I don't think that it'll help them a lot in the Central this year. I just think that other teams outside of the White Sox took their offseason time to make their teams better and get other tools, while the Guardians are still, like you said, pulling up with the same lineup. Thinking that Miles Straw, Bo Naylor, Ramon Laureano, like the Stephen Kwan, that they're gonna do something for them. They're just gonna slap the ball around and hope for the best.
That outfield, they will hit probably a total of 3 home runs by All-Star break.
Yeah.
But God damn it, are they going to get on base for you and play
Has
defense?
Miles Straw
I was
ever
gonna
hit
say
a home run?
they'll get some good defense too out of them.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They're going to play a hell of defense and they're going to get on base. But if you want them to produce runs, they are not your guys.
And that's what they want out of them. Like Stephen Kwan get on and steal a base. Miles Straw is down there for a reason because he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But if he somehow stumbles upon first base, you know he's trying to steal second. So outside of that, it's nothing. Like Bo Naylor, like I said, bringing in the catcher, he looked promising for a second. Who knows now? Josh Naylor, I actually could see the one being traded out of this lineup. Not like many teams have a room for a DH that kind of plays first base occasionally. Like sometimes we'll find the outfield, but if somebody needs a left-handed bat bad enough for the deadline, I could see Josh Naylor being the one that's going out of it.
Yeah. All right. Me and you are, I didn't think you would agree with me on that one, Mort.
Oh, absolutely. The Guardians should not be good.
Identical.
I said that. I said we would.
All right. Nick, who do you got at your number 3 spot?
Okay, well, again, my third place team's the Guardians, even though we just talked about them for 5 minutes.
I'll say what you say your piece about them, Nick.
But I mean, I'll say I do think they're gonna lead the league in sacrifice bunts. I will say that. I mean, they're gonna be playing small ball offense all year. I mean, they're gonna rely on their pitching staff. They still got some big arms in the Scott Barlow is a pretty good acquisition for their bullpen.
Oh, absolutely.
And they just did bring in Stephen Voigt too as their manager now. So that you get a players coach or a players manager,
which is interesting. I mean, I don't know how he's going to do with them his first year managing. They're going from Terry Francona to him, so that's going to be
and it's a low pressure place though, I guess. So we'll see how it is for him.
Are they really going from Terry Francona? I feel like he was in and out for the past 4 years.
Like, well, at least last year he wasn't there very often.
I feel like he's managed half a season, at least the past 3 seasons. But continue. I digress.
I mean, this Guardian team, they're not gonna like flash anybody this year. But I mean, I still think they're gonna be like a little bit behind 500, like max like 75 wins. I'll give them. And I mean, we just talked about them for so long. I don't know what else to really say about them. So yeah,
I'd go 70. I'd go 70. I think the White Sox hit somewhere around 63, 64.
Yeah. My number 3 team is where you had your number 4 team at, Nick. I have the Royals here. I think they take a low step up. You mentioned they didn't make a lot of moves in the player wise or position player wise. I don't think they needed to. I think they had the guys they needed. They just needed more time with them and more time for them to develop. Obviously, Bobby Witt just got the big contract. They got Nick Lofton, who's finally going to get up and get some playing time. They went out and got Garrett Hampson this past offseason. I think he's going to be he kind of fits with the players they have. It seems like they are going for more speedy guys that can just get on base. And then they don't really have any power on this team outside of really Bobby Witt and maybe Vinny at first base. They went out and got a utility guy in Adam Frazier that I like. They're going to have kind of a put together infield, but it's not going to be a bad infield. I do like the Hunter Renfroe ad. It gives them some power in the outfield. I think they kind of decide what they want to do with MJ Melendez now as an outfielder. I guess he's going to be there. It seems like they're getting their shit together, essentially. They're starting pitching. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. They're probably going to have a starting pitching ERA of like 5+ just because of Jordan Lyles alone. But I did see when I clicked over to their team, Lyles is hurt currently. So they may go into the season without Lyles. And they can find a 5th guy. Lyles may be expendable for them. So we're crossing our fingers. Or not crossing our fingers, but if you're a Royals fan, you're crossing your fingers on that.
I'd assume that's where Dylan Lynch or Daniel Lynch comes in.
Yeah,
I don't know why Zach Greinke's still on the roster, but
because I think he's I don't think he retired.
I think he might have signed 1 year with them again. Who knows?
No, he's not on the
W.
MLB roster. Yeah, he's not. But they did go get good bullpen guys. They got Will Smith. They got Seth Lugo. He may end up in the bullpen for them. I swear I saw another name, but they have a decent rotation that will get them that will, I think, get them to close to 80 wins. I think they get like 77, 78, 79, somewhere around there. They flirt like where the Tigers and Indians fell last year. So
Yeah, so we'll stay right here. I have the Royals at number 3. I really do like what the Royals had going on. Like has been mentioned, all they needed was time. Bobby Witt got the monster deal. I don't know if I might just unleash some hot takes here with this Royals team, but I personally have Bobby Witt going for MVP, at least being a top 3 guy in that.
okay.
But yeah, like we said, Salvador Perez, he knows his role, and I think he plays it well. And I just think they go as far as he can take them, which, again, I still have them going in 3rd place, but it's leaps and bounds better than being one of the worst teams in baseball like they have been. Vinny Pasquantino coming back from injury. I know that they kind of like him hitting some bombs over at first base. Renfroe was a big bat to add to the middle of their lineup.
Which I didn't realize. Renfroe's a very consistent home run hitter over his career. He's only hit under 20 home runs twice in his career, and one was the COVID season.
I mean, him going to Kauffman Stadium is going to do pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's going to benefit. He'll hit 35 home runs, I think, this season.
Other than that, like, the Royals don't have too many household names, but they have guys that I think can score them enough runs to keep them around and win them some close games. Like we mentioned, the starters. I think Seth Lugo is going to be a pretty good pickup for them. As we just mentioned, I think I would assume Daniel Lynch would probably go into Jordan Lyles' spot. Waka was a really good pickup for them.
Yep.
But another hot take. Another Royals hot take. I have Cole Reagans. I can't even say his name. I have Cole Reagans as a top 5 Cy Young candidate.
All right.
He was a monster last year. But
Reagan's love.
Absolutely. But from the rest of the pitching, Scott Barlow being out of there is a huge loss, whether it wants to be acknowledged or not, because they don't have a lot of depth they don't have what I would look at as like a shutdown guy besides Will Smith, but he's like 97 years old now.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's not a lot going on in the bullpen, so I think that would be their one thing holding them back from not getting 3rd place in the Central.
Yeah. All right. Here's where it gets juicy. Nick, who do you have at number 2?
Oh, my 2nd place team. I think they're gonna fall short again. The Detroit Tigers are my 2nd place team in the AL Central.
All right.
I mean, looking through their team, I do like some of the pickups they made. Where is he? Urshela, he's gonna be a good pickup. When they're going against left-handed pitchers, I think he was like one of the best hitters versus lefties last season, something like that. Mark Hanna, I mean, you're not gonna get like a whole lot of numbers out of him, but I mean, seems like he's consistent. He's gonna give you close to 60 RBIs at least, around 15 home runs, something like that. I mean, if the Tigers want to win the division, I mean, Torkelson and Riley Green are both gonna have to stay healthy all season, and Tork's he's gonna need to have like a huge season. Then go look at their rotation. They pick up Jack Flaherty. He's had a lot of injury issues in the past. He used to be like I guess considered a top pitcher. So I mean, if they can get him healthy, it would be a different story. Kenta Maeda, I mean, he kind of fell off the last few years. So I don't know how to feel about him. Then there are other young guys, like their rotation last year, a lot of injury issues. Casey Mize, man, can't stay healthy ever. And then I think Matt Manning was also injury prone last year.
not injured. He just had 2 broken feet. Or
Yeah, he broke his toe on
He
a
broke-
line drive back at him.
yeah, I think he broke his foot twice. So don't even come at him. That's not even his fault.
And then where is it? Bullpen wise, I mean, they got Andrew Chafin back. I mean, I think when they last year, I think he didn't even do that good though, Chafin, or he was like mid.
It's because he wasn't
Yeah.
home. He wasn't home.
But I mean, they do have the best catching duo in like the league, according to Twitter users. So at least
Twitter
they have
user,
that.
Twitter user Gavin.
It's true.
Jake Rogers, Hall of Fame catcher, and then Carson Kelly's the best backup in the American League. So I mean, if they weren't going to rely on those guys calling the games for their pitchers, they'll be okay. But I just think they're going to fall just short of the Twins this year, though. I just have to say that.
All right. And with what you just said, I have the Twins coming in second place.
Surprise.
I really do like this team. They didn't really lose much. They added Carlos Santana. I think they're finally starting to figure out their infield a little bit more now. Royce Lewis hopefully is going to take a big step for them. Hopefully Correa can rebound from last year, whatever was going on with him, he can rebound. And I think a big piece of this, and I'm happy that it was sent in the group chat today. Austin Martin. I think Austin Martin is going to become a big part of that team. You know a lot about Austin Martin, Nick. He was former Toronto Blue Jay.
Barely.
I think he's going to take a step and be a big part of this team for them, whether it be in the outfield or be at second base for them. They don't really have a second baseman right now, and I think that could be him unless they want to play Royce Lewis at second base, even though he's probably going to play third base for them.
Their second baseman Edward. This second baseman's Edward Julian.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
And don't disrespect the Canadian.
Sorry, he'll play probably in the outfield. Then he'll be a platoon guy in the outfield. And then I really my thing is will Buxton stay healthy? He doesn't have to play the outfield anymore. All he has to do is hit and run, which could be very difficult for him. It seems as though he gets injured every time he is in the field. So I think if you can just keep him away from being a fielder, it's golden. If you have to put him in the field, I am worried that he will miss at least 2 months minimum. I think the Twins compete for the playoffs. I think they are right there. I think they get 82, 83, 84 wins. So I think they're going to be right there competing with the Tigers for the playoffs and for this division. I don't think it's going to be a Tigers by 7. I think it's going to be a Tigers by like 1 or 2 wins.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic, I have the Tigers in second place.
Okay.
No, just kidding. It's the Twins.
I wasn't even looking at the
screen. I don't think that they're amazing. I don't think that they didn't do anything to get better. Buxton's a non-factor like Luis Robert. He might play a little bit less than Luis Robert does, and when he does, I still don't see, oh my gosh, he's an MVP. Oh, Buxton's gonna be a Hall of Famer. I just don't see him. When I do see him play, he's not very good. Yeah, he'll hit an occasional bomb or something. Everybody freaks out like, oh, Buxton's here. And then 3 days later, he's out for 60 days. So he's just automatically erased out of the lineup, in my opinion. Royce Lewis, coming off of a big playoff run, I really liked what I saw from him. I think he's going to be able to hold down third base for them for a little bit. Correa, yeah, there's no way he has another fluke season. Carlos Correa is just too good to not be who he normally is.
I mean, you say that about Buxton, though. That's how I feel about Correa. I don't see a Hall of Famer in Correa.
The fact that Max Kepler is still on this team and starting, I swear that they almost got rid of him last year, but either way, he's not very good. The projection of 21 bombs and 90 RBIs is absolutely insane. So apparently he's making like a silver slugger run that I don't know about. So I guess maybe that's why Kepler is starting. Carlos Santana coming in that they just brought in for first base. It's whatever. At least it's another vet for him and Correa to lead them. But outside of that, yeah, Kirilloff down here at DH, I don't think he's very good either, personally. That's where I think you could see Buxton there and then get somebody else in the outfield. Their starters, Pablo Lopez is the truth. Joe Ryan's all right. Bailey Ober's not too bad. I mean, these top three guys will win them some games, and they'll go as far as these guys will take them. I do think Chris Paddock is a nice little guy to throw in there and see if he does have anything left that he was supposed to be with the Padres. And I also do like Anthony DeSclafani being a number 5 guy. He's kind of like the Michael Lorenzen of the Tigers last year.
I was going to mention how I did like that they got him. I don't know how they got him, but they got him somehow because I thought he was traded to Seattle or traded to, I don't know. He was part of a trade, I think.
But
that
I mean,
I saw. I think it's how Mitch what's his face ended up back in Seattle. He was part of that trade to get him back up there, and then Seattle must have just dropped him.
I think they signed DeSclafani.
Yeah.
But other than that, like Griffin Jackson, Yohan Duran, like holding back the end of their bullpen. I'm not even gonna lie to you and say I know any of these other names besides Caleb Thielbar. Oh, Josh Stallmount, I forgot they got him. That's another big loss for the Royals. But yeah, I see the Twins getting second place. I don't think they win enough games. I think their offense could if they do win the Central, it's because their offense showed out and was able to muster, like you said, maybe 2 or 3 games more than the Tigers.
Yep. All right. And Nick, go ahead with your number 1 team. You can just play right off of us.
Yeah, well, my AL Central winner is the Minnesota Twins. I think they're going to go back-to-back here. But I think it's going to be closer this year, I will say. I think last year they won by like 9 games or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right, but
I
think this year, I think the Tigers are going to be like around 3 or 4 games behind them. I just don't think the Tigers did enough to dethrone the Twins, in my opinion. They're going to get a full year out of Julian this year, who I like I liked him last year. Royce Lewis, he's going to be a stud this year as long as he stays healthy. You get it. Carlos Santana is a veteran voice now in that dugout. That's going to help them. Switch hitter. I mean, he still can play too. And then their bullpen, Duran's just he's insane with the velocity he throws on his pitches. It's like I've never seen before. He's not even fair to go against. But I mean, if the Twins just got like one more like setup man though, like I think they can honestly contend to win the American League, in my opinion, with that.
I think that might be what their hope is with Stallmount.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my one thing looking at their team is they, outside of Duran, they didn't have any other bullpen guys, it seemed like, or any that have really stuck out over the past 2 years for them, or that they have signed and that looked good in the MLB. So,
and they also have a solid bench. You know, you got Kyle Farmer, you got Christian Vasquez as their backup catcher, Manuel Margot, and you got Willie Castro back there for the speed, switching that.
Waiting for somebody to mention him.
You know, I didn't. If I did, it would have been another 5 minutes of talking about the Twins. So I figured I'd cut it short.
All right, go ahead, Nick.
Also, I would like to see Austin Martin get an opportunity too.
See, I'm glad you're on the Austin Martin train with me.
You know,
Nick. Thank you.
I mean, Jays barely had him, and they trade him for Barrios, which I'm not really mad about.
Him and Simon Woods Richardson, or I think, yeah.
I would be intrigued with the Austin Martin stuff if it came to a point where he absolutely was like, he's ready to play, and they need to have him out there. I wonder what the odds of. I mean, I know they just got Carlos Santana; he's their vet and everything, but I wonder what the odds of Royce Lewis sliding over to first base for Austin Martin to go to third base would be like.
Could happen. And then Santana just being a DH with Buxton?
Or I don't know if he's still in the market to do it, but that could be come back to where Correa said he could play third base for the right for the right occasion. So
Yeah.
he could step over there and also run to shortstop. I don't know if really you want to do that. I'd go Royce Lewis at first base, but
it's definitely something to look at, or look at over the season. My number one team is the Detroit Tigers.
All right, let's hear the slob.
No, I'm not gonna go in. Nick, you said Toronto was gonna win the AL East,
Yeah.
so I don't want to hear it. Give us our time.
At least that's more realistic.
I don't know.
So the Tigers, they are gonna build off of a great season they had last year. They didn't really lose anything. They lost, if anything, they lost guys that weren't producing for them or just hurting the team. The only person that didn't lose is Javi. He'll still be in the lineup. Hopefully he can bounce back. Probably not. But I like the direction they're going, and they're finally kind of leading into the youth movement. Miguel's gone. So that Kerry Carpenter's going to step into the DH spot finally. He won't have to play in the outfield. I just like, Colt Keith obviously just got the big deal. He's going to be on the opening day roster, bearing any disasterful thing, knock on wood. But I just like the direction they're going in. I like that our starting pitching is at a position now where we're not like, oh, we may have to start Joey Wentz to, oh, we may have to put Mize in the bullpen. And me and Brendan, and then I know Mort, you had the same thought. Me and Brendan were sitting and talking. We both said Mize as a long reliever, as your guy that, hey, give me 2-3 innings every other day, 2-3 times a week, is a lot better situation for him. And I know you mentioned, and you'll probably say it in a little bit, just he's going to be on a pitch count either way. Like, allow him to just go out there, get a few innings every once in a while, eat a few innings in between your setup man, in between your closer, in between your starter and closer. And that's not a bad situation for them to be in right now. You essentially have a 6th starter that is going to come in after your starter comes out.
So basically, he's Michael Fulmer 2.0.
Yes, 100%.
They kind of throw the. Hey, I said 3 years ago that they throw the same, so it only makes sense that happens.
But yeah, I think guys like Torque, Green, they take big steps. Or Torque, he has a good start to the season and finishes it like that. And Green, obviously some fluky injuries, broke his foot last year too, I believe. Made a lot of broken feet on the Tigers for some reason.
Yeah.
But he comes out, he's playing right field now. We're going to have Parker Meadows, another rookie, technically rookie, in center field. I feel like the Tigers, outside third base, Gio Urshela, Andy Ibanez, those are guys that probably up with the tune at third with Matt Vierling. But I think they're in a good spot. They have good depth, kind of like you mentioned with the Twins. They have good depth to the point that I'm not worried about this team. I think they get 87, 88 wins, right about where the Twins were last year.
Don't forget about that elite number 9 guy.
Yes. I'll get to him. Yeah, so obviously first I also have the Tigers. Just a quick little breakdown. I like the way that this lineup is laid out. That's basically how I would do it personally. Outside, I mean, the top 6 should be solidified. I just want to say that this might be the deepest lineup the Tigers have had in years. For ability
roster.
Ability and talent wise, but then that's when we have the issue is the bottom 3. Personally, I'm starting Andy Ibanez at third base and putting him 7th behind Colt Keith, and it's low-key, it's Andy Ibanez. That's all he does is hit bombs, apparently.
Okay.
I don't know. The dude's made me a believer now. And then I'm putting Jake Rogers after him, putting Javi batting 9th, because plain and simple, I watched the bad years of the Tigers. Plain and simple, Javier Baez is the worst baseball player I have ever seen. And it's not even close. It's not even a competition. Everybody wants to talk about his defense. I don't care about his defense because he can't throw the ball. It doesn't matter if he fields the ball. He can't throw it. And he sure as heck can't hit it. If he wasn't there, I'd say that it's a team worth or a team that has the ability to win 90 plus, but Javi alone would affect probably 4 losses. And then outside of that, I'm not even saying it biasly. I've heard it multiple times in MLB Network and other people. The Tigers have a potential to be one of the best rotations in the league. Tarek Skubal, as I've been making hot takes all video, I have him personally as my Cy Young winner. The only question is, can he do it throughout the whole season? Because he has only had like 120 innings as his most in his career so far. But if he can make it through, there's no doubt in my mind that he should be up there. He finally is being regarded as one of the best pitchers in the league because that second half that he had last year was absolutely crazy. I love the Jack Flaherty pickup. Low risk, high reward kind of guy. Another vet that's been around. He's like 28 and he's a vet. It's crazy. Maeda, I really liked too. Manning finally being able to be a back end guy, and it's not because of him being bad is a great sign. Reese Olson is probably my favorite player on the team, but yeah, the Casey Mize situation. Yeah. I've had to stop myself from getting his jersey. I've wanted it so bad.
What number is he wearing now?
40, I think.
I didn't know if he took Boyd's number. Because I think he had to give up 48.
He gave up 45. He gave up 45 to Flaherty.
Yeah, but I remember. Yeah, I don't know. But
imagine 1 in 45.
But yeah, Mize is the different story. He's looked pretty good in spring. He's throwing harder. As you mentioned, I had said I could see him in the bullpen because I just simply don't think that they put him in Toledo to start the year. But I also could see them running with the 6-man rotation, but I think that hurts Skubal, putting him on the extra day of rest. So I'm not really sure how that would work out.
Yeah.
But I would not be mad at Mize as a guy that comes in after Manning or Olsen or something and gets at least 2 to 3 innings, comes back in a few days, and you just keep him on a little bit of a schedule because you don't know how the whole bullpen is going to go. But speaking of the bullpen, it was, again, one of the best in American leagues last year. So
and you don't lose much from it.
It's you're asking them to do it again. I do want to point out Sawyer Gibson Long. I really liked what I saw from him last year. I think he could be a factor. It's just hard to get him into the rotation and or bullpen with the amount of guys that they have. I'm personally not having Lang be the closer. It's Jason Foley, in my opinion. Bringing Chafin back was great, and
bringing in Miller was great too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Other than that, I don't think Shelby Miller. I don't know if anybody's been able to.
Now?
I don't know if anybody's been able to locate him this spring. But yeah. I've been told that he's there, so that's a good sign.
He's just hanging out though. Has Chafin even pitched?
I think he might have once. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did once.
I just find it interesting how some of these guys just are like just not pitching, and then they're gonna make the opening day roster, obviously. Yeah. But I just find it crazy how some of them just aren't pitching.
Yeah, but then just and final, I think it's probably one of the deeper benches they've had in a while too. Vierling being able to play all over the field, McKinstry the same way. I mean, I would have been I thought for sure he was going to go back and forth with Andy Ibanez all year, and I wouldn't have been super mad about it. But adding Gio Urshela into it is kind of crazy. AJ did say that Canna and Urshela will find themselves at first base every now and then too to give Torkelson a day off or let him DH. So I guess like that makes sense.
That's awkward.
I love Carson Kelly as the backup catcher.
Yeah, we know.
And if I had to pick, I'm personally like Justin Henry Moore is making the team over Baddoo, but I really think he needs to be in Toledo getting consistent at bats. But Baddoo also blows, so maybe you don't carry either of them. You just carry the 4, which is perfectly fine. But to wrap it up, the Tigers win the Central, and I think they get 87 to 90 games.
Miller has pitched 2, and so has Chafin. So they both have pitched.
Oh yeah, but the other thing we were talking about Torkelson. He played 150 something games last year, so he was healthy. We got to remember that was a dude that hit 31 home runs, or 31 home runs and 96 RBIs. So I'm not asking him to do that again, but if he does, that'd be kind of cool. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But
Hey, he's got to get 100 RBIs this year.
yeah, he would
I'd
have
say-
to. He'd have to with Riley being there, getting on base, and Parker Meadows being I think Parker Meadows is a dream leadoff guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. Me and Mort had the same.
I knew it would
Same.
happen. I knew it would happen.
We went Tigers, Twins, Royals, Guardians, White Sox, and Nick, you went Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Royals, White Sox.
Yeah.
So yeah, you basically just flipped your 1 and 2 when you're 3 and 4 from us. But there is the AL Central. We'll come back next week with the NL Central. We're 3 weeks away from opening day, and things are getting more exciting. Still no signing of those 2 pitchers. I believe those are the last 2 big free agents that we talked about in the first episode when we did the AL East. So
I mean, there's a third one that pitches too, but
it's whatever.
I mean, there was the Matt Chapman signing.
There was the Matt Chapman. I guess there was, but that's gonna
it's so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant that it doesn't matter.
Nick, that's gonna affect our last.
Yeah, we hadn't gotten out west yet, so that works.
Yeah, so it kind of works. But
personally, it might make the Dodgers fall lower or the Giants fall lower on my list.
My
God. Anyway.
But thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with the NL Central.